Hi, my name is Eddie Kotynski, and I am the Latin Department Chair at Scholé Academy, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about our um, Latin department, about Latin Alive 1, 2, and 3. And um, so I've been teaching Latin and Greek for about 20 years now, and um, I just love conveying the love of the Latin language, of language in general, to the students. One of the things that I think that we do well in our classes is connecting everything together, really treating Latin as part of an integrated whole of how all the subjects come together. I did have a student who said to me recently that she loves how everything comes together to Latin. And Latin allows us to connect to history, it allows us to connect to language, to culture. It prepares us for other languages, and I always try and bring my students back to the idea of all that we do coming back to the love of God and love of neighbor. And we can love God and our neighbor through the Latin language as we look at how it connects us to people around us today, as well as how it connects us to people in the past. In our classroom, I think what's really neat is that there's ways to connect to other students and to as well as to the subject. And so one of the things students like the most is our breakout rooms, where we go out and they work together in groups, get to know each other, have fun, translate together. There's also discussion boards on our grading platform that allows students to chat, and I have one running chat where students are just trying to get as many comments as possible, and so they're just working to comment as often as possible. But other groups are just actually connecting with each other, and yeah. So these are some things that are just really what connects students together. One project that we do in one of the classes is a family tree, and this kind of illustrates how every aspect of the different parts of life come together, because we're looking at a language, we're looking at a culture and a history, and the Roman ways of thinking about family are different than the way that we think of in our world here in the West, and or at least in America, where you have aunts and uncles and grandparents and things, but in Rome, you have to distinguish between your aunt on your mother's side and your aunt on your dad's side. So mater terra is your aunt who's related to your mother, and amita is your aunt who is related to your dad. Patruelus is, or Patruus is your uncle on your dad's side, and Avunculus is your uncle on your mother's side. And so, they get to see how they thought about relationships, and that you actually had to be aware when you're not only speaking, when you're listening, you're able to tell what people are talking about in sometimes a more precise way. And other times, it's actually less precise in Latin than in English. And so when you can translate a phrase in Latin as when, since, or although in English, that means English requires a precision, a choosing of when, since, or although, whereas in Latin you can get away with just the conjunction cum. So these things are ways in which I think Latin is valuable, but also I think the way that we teach it here at Scholé Academy is unique and relational. Thank you.